નમસ્તે, હું સિસ્ટર આનેટ ફર્નાન્ડિસ 32 વર્ષથી હું દયાસદન દવાખાનામાં કામ કરું છું. મારો જન્મ અમદાવાદમાં થયો હતો 1955માં મેની 6 તારીખે, અને 1983માં MBBS પાસ કર્યા પછી ઝંખવાવ આવી હતી 1985માં, અને ત્યારથી હું ત્યાં સેવાનું કામ કરું છું. જ્યારે હું ત્યાં દયાસદન દવાખાનામાં ગઈ ત્યારે મને લાગ્યું કે અહીંયા તો ઘણા બધા ગરીબ આદિવાસી લોકો છે જેમાં ઘણા બધાની સિકલ સેલની બીમારી છે. એટલે મને સિકલ સેલની બીમારીમાં બહુ રસ થવા લાગી, અને પછી મને ઈચ્છા થઈ કે આ સિકલ સેલના દર્દીઓ માટે મારે કશું કરવું જોઈએ. I went to Seva Rural Hospital, Jagadia, to be trained as to how to create awareness among our tribal people about sickle cell disease. Not only to create awareness, but also to detect cases among them. And then what else can be done to prevent sickle cell disease from increasing among our tribals. So I got trained there, and in the year 2002, right up to 2006, I visited about 100 tribal villages, both from Zankhvav and Dadwara. And in these 100 villages, we used to go practically every second day to these villages in a team. We went as a team, along with some nurses and some health workers. I also prepared the people through the health workers, to come and to cooperate with us in this sickle cell disease awareness and control program. And I got a very good response from all these 100 villages. I would also include the boardings run by the sisters and the fathers in Zankhvav, Dadwara and Chitalda. So I started this, and I realized that there were about 1 to 2% of sickle cell disease, the full-blown sickle cell disease patients among tribals. And there were about 25 to 30% of carrier sickle cell traits, as we would call. And so, what we documented these findings in registers, and I showed these registers to the government doctor in Surat. There's a sickle cell detection center in Surat. So I went there and I showed my registers to them, and I told them that nothing is being done for our sickle cell disease patients. Then they did not respond to me. But 2 years later, I discovered that in every PHC and in every CHC, sickle cell testing was carried out. PHC is the primary health center, and the CHCs are the community health centers. These are government hospitals. And I was very happy about it. So then I gradually started sending my patients to the government PHCs and CHCs. So then I started working in collaboration with them, because free sickle cell tests were being done by them, and they were giving free treatment to the patients. So I was very happy that the government had started doing something for sickle cell disease patients. And last year in February 2017, I was very happy to know that the government had started a scheme of giving rupees 500 to every sickle cell disease patient. That was for nutrition, because sickle cell disease patients need a lot of nutrition and care. And so now I'm sending most of my patients to these primary and community health centers for investigation and for treatment, because the government supports them if they take treatment from there. I also realized that there were many TB patients among our tribals. And why? It was due to malnutrition, due to poverty. And our tribals work very hard. They are agriculturists, and they have to work the whole day in the fields to earn some money, to grow their crops and earn some money. Many of them work as laborers in the cities in Surat. They migrate to the cities for work, and there they work as diamond polishers. These diamond polishers have to work in a very small room, close. They have to sit together and work, and that is how they had been transmitting TB to each other, and that is why there were so many cases of TB among our tribals. So there again, in 2008, when the government approached Dayasadan Davakhano and invited us to collaborate with them in the treatment and in the diagnosis and treatment of TB patients, we grabbed this opportunity. So much so that in 2011, Dayasadan Davakhano, Zankhvav, got a state level award as the best NGO in Gujarat state to collaborate with the government in the control of TB patients, in the treatment and control of TB. The incidence of TB was very high among men, and that was because of cigarette smoking, alcoholism, and other and the gutka addicts, addiction to gutka and other vices. So that is why it was higher among men than women. And if the women got TB, it was because their husbands had TB and it was passed on to them. But the main context of TB were the men. The children were very few among them because, okay, maybe the father had TB, so that is how the children got TB. But very few, very few. See, the Adivasis have to work very hard. They have cattle. Besides their fields, they have cattle. And to feed the cattle, they have to go in the morning in search of cattle feed. Because they don't grow the cattle feed. Now they have started growing cattle feed. Others have to go or take the cattle out for grazing. And the nutrition was not sufficient because they used to eat late. And I observed that they used to eat mainly rice and dal. Or maybe just the chapati. And if there was some vegetable, okay, but mainly it was rice and dal. And what nutrition could they get from that? That was during those years, early years, when I was in Zankhvav. But now I can see there is a great improvement. Why? Because now they have started earning money. They are going to the cities. They are working as laborers and they are earning money. Those days in the dispensary, patients used to be brought in bullock carts or they used to be carried in the jholas. But today I can see they come in four-wheelers. They bring them on two-wheelers. You can see the improvement in the economic status of Adivasis. When you say havoc, I wouldn't agree that it has played havoc as such because I can see a definite improvement what they were before and what they are now. But I can see that a lot of political influence has come in, which was not there before. And also another thing I can say is alcoholism. There are many men who are drinking alcohol, and I am sure, and I know for certain that the politicians have a hand in it. It is they who are sending all this alcohol to the villages, so that the men will drink and they can make their money. The middlemen make the money, and of course they have to give that money to the politicians. But it is our Adivasis who in the long run are suffering because of alcoholism. They go on to cirrhosis of liver. And I can see that there are many women in our villages who are widows. Why? Because they have lost their husbands due to alcoholism. There are many patients coming to me with scabies and fungal infections. These are the majority of the cases that come to me daily in the OPD. This is due to poor hygiene. Now, I wouldn't relate the poor hygiene to poverty. I would relate it to some other factor. When I ask the patients, when I ask the people, when do they bathe their children? They tell me that they bathe their children in the morning and not in the night. That means the child goes to sleep dirty with all the dirt on the clothes. And just the hands and the feet are washed. That doesn't make the child clean. And this is why the children get scabies. Many of the children get scabies due to that. So, constantly we are creating an awareness among parents about the importance of bathing their children in the night and changing their clothes, making sure that children wear clean clothes before they go to bed so that all the dirt and the germs are taken off from their bodies and the children do not suffer from scabies and other skin diseases. Now, Mother and Child Health Program, I can say that in Dadwada, for the past 4 years, I am running this Mother and Child Health Program in 20 villages. And I can say that the health status of the mothers and children is very good, very, very good. In India, Gujarat is at a high level, at a good level, you can say at the top, where the health of mother and children are concerned, because the maternal mortality rate and the infant mortality rate has gone down in Gujarat. since the introduction of the 108 emergency service, which was it was about 2000, the year 2000, all pregnant mothers, as soon as they would go into labor, they had the privilege of calling this emergency 108 emergency ambulance, and these ambulances would take the pregnant mothers for delivery to the government hospitals. The government has improved its infrastructure of late for delivery cases. And so that is why there are no delivery cases coming to us. Formerly, there used to be a lot of delivery cases coming to me, and I used to every night, practically every night or every day, I used to conduct about 2 to 3 cases. But now they all go to the government hospital, and they have a very good infrastructure. And because of this improved health services, I can say that the mother and child health program is very good. We run also the Balwadi and the tuition class program in the villages. Right now we have the Balwadis in 7 villages, and the tuition class program in 12 villages. Then we find that this is helping the children by giving them a good foundation, good basic foundation in education. So when the Balwadi children go to the first standard, they go to the Ashram Shara in Katkuva, they have come there with a very good basic foundation education. That is why they perform well, they do well in the school. But there is still a long way to go. There are children who are still not that good, and we have to work hard in that area. We have started the tuition class program in 12 villages. This is for the children from the 1st to the 4th standard. And this is basically, we focus mainly on Gujarati, on maths and English, because these 3 subjects are very difficult for the children. So we said we will focus on these 3 subjects. We train the teachers, and the teachers in turn train the children. And so we can see that there is a definite improvement when the children come to maybe the 5th standard or 6th standard in Dadwara. They are better off because they have a good grasp of maths, English and Gujarati. You know, there was a sister Mariamma in Zankhvav, and she has done a lot in the area of herbal medicines. I have learnt a lot from her. And I also use, I'm an allopathic doctor, but I use some of her treatment, some of Mariamma's treatment. See, for instance, those patients suffering from jaundice, she has told me what is good for jaundice. She has shown me the herbal plants which are very specifically good for jaundice, good as treatment for jaundice. And so I show the patients the plants, and they take it when they have jaundice. Or we get a lot of renal stone cases, renal stone. So she has told me that, the pattar fodi and the teak wood seed. So this is what I have passed on from what she has taught me. Case of scorpion bites too, she has told me the good treatment with the neem juice. So these are some of the treatments which I am following. So, then we also prepare something called neem oil. This neem oil is very good for skin infections. And that is from herbal plants that we have prepared. And Mariamma has taught us how to prepare that. Then also we have something called RH oil, which is for those suffering from arthritis. And that is also prepared from nagod leaves, from garlic, and some other things that Sister Mariamma has taught us. So we're carrying on. So in my work, there is a balance between allopathy and herbal medicine. Not so much Ayurvedic and homeopathic, because that's a total different line, but it is more of naturopathy and herbal medicine, which Sister Mariamma has taught. Actually, since I'm a religious and I'm a doctor, that gives a very good spiritual background to my work as a doctor, because the faith aspect comes in. And in 1985, after I completed MBBS, I came to Zankhvav absolutely without any experience, nothing, except my 1-year internship in Mukama, Patna, which gave me a lot of confidence. And I had only the backing of faith in my work, because there was some very, very difficult delivery cases coming to me. And it was my background of faith as a religious which helped me to reach out to the woman, with compassion. That is the aspect that is common. As a religious, I can combine the aspect of compassion with healthcare, compassion and love. In Zankhvav and in Dadwada, where I am at present, we get a lot of patients every day. Every day, more than 100 patients. That's why we need a very good staff. And we have 5 trained Adivasi girls. They are not nurses, but we have trained them to give injections, to do dressings, to start IV fluids for patients, to explain to the patients about medicine, how different tablets have to be taken. Not only that, also to give health awareness on hygiene and other aspects. So these are just maybe 10 to 1200 girls who we have trained, and they are my nurses. Of course, there are 2 other sister nurses who are helping me in the dispensary. But these Adivasi girls are the ones who are helping us in the dispensary in our work. Earlier we had health workers, now we call them barefoot counselors. The barefoot counselors are nothing but health workers who have been given additional counseling skills, because we realized that there were many women in distress, our tribal women in distress, many widows in the villages. So we needed women who would meet these people, and there were many elderly who were neglected in the villages, tribals, neglecting their elderly parents. So we have trained our health workers to be barefoot counselors, to reach out to these women who are in distress, to reach out to the widows in their loneliness, to reach out to these elderly women, elderly people, elderly men and women who are neglected, the parents who are neglected by some of their children, because the children have to go out to work, they are just neglected. Or even to alcoholics. So you know what, this is a new dimension that our work has taken on in Zankhvav and Dadwada. Our health workers have been given additional skills, counseling skills. And so they're reaching out to women in distress, they're reaching out to alcoholics. In Dadwada, I can give you something that good that we are doing in Dadwada villages, where alcoholics are concerned. I put Sister Vandana in charge of the barefoot counselors there. And she's the one who trains the barefoot counselors. So through the barefoot counselors, she got the names of alcoholics, men who are really so deeply alcoholic, but they want to give up their addiction. They want to give up. If there are some alcoholics who refuse to accept the fact that they are alcoholics. They say, no, we don't drink so much. But there are some men who are genuine. They say, yes, we are alcoholics and we want to get rid of this addiction. So of late, Sister Vandana had taken 4 such men who had expressed the desire to get rid of their alcoholism. She had taken them to Surat. There is one NGO working there, and she collaborated with that NGO. That NGO came forward to help us even, and they are the ones who paid for the 4 in Surat. So they were kept there for nearly 21 days. They apply a very scientific and medical approach in the treatment of alcoholics. That is why it has been very successful. And now 1 month has passed. They have not drunk. They are working hard in their fields, and their wives are very, very happy. So this is one great achievement for us in this area. And we want to pursue it and help many alcoholics.